Whether they're stocks or a pillory, these items were originally designed to both restrain and humiliate. So of course they're perfect for BDSM. Hey guys, it's Morgan from BDSM Relationships and Education. Thank you for checking out this episode of Unusual BDSM Toys. Today we're talking about stocks. But before we get to that, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and that way you can keep up with the 2 videos per week that I post, teaching you all about everything BDSM, from the very basics to some more unusual stuff. Stocks have a very long history of being used for punishment. We see them in the medieval times, in the Renaissance, and the colonial American times. So they've been used time and time again because they're effective at what they do. So the function of stocks is twofold. First is that they physically restrain and punish a person. They are quite heavy. I have mine resting here on my chair so I don't have to hold up the weight of them throughout this whole video. So they put a lot of stress on the body and they hold you in rather an awkward position. The other thing is that they were used for public humiliation. So somebody would be put in a set of stocks or a pillory, which is the stocks on a stand. So they would be put into one of those. They would be left in the public square for a certain amount of time, and passerby would, throw fruit and vegetables, rotten fruit and vegetables at them. They would yell at them. They would humiliate them, and generally it was to punish through that sort of very public scorn. So there are different styles of stocks, and especially once we get into BDSM specific stocks. So this is a more traditional version. I don't want to knock anything over because it's rather large. So obviously the head goes through here, and then we've got 2 holes for the hands. Of course I picked the wrong end. There we go. The stocks have a latch here, which opens so that you can put the person in. You bring it together, close the latch, and if you can see on this one here, there is that little hole. And this you can put a lock through so that the person can't get out. So this one, as I said, has a space for the head and the hands. So you're not really going to go anywhere, and you have to deal with the weight of this. So again, this one has the hole for the head, and then also spaces for the wrists. So this would go like that on a person, and they're stuck with this big heavy weight on their shoulders, and they can't really use their hands to mitigate and hold some of that weight. So it's just all there and putting a lot of uncomfortable pressure on the person. There are also some styles of stocks that would just hold the feet, or it would hold the feet and the hands. So you'd see 4 holes, and the person would have to sort of sit in a touching your toes type position, which is very, very uncomfortable, especially if the person in the stocks is not the most flexible. I've seen ones where they will hold the hands and have a spot for the penis and scrotum if you have a submissive or a bottom that has a penis and scrotum. There's another one, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll include it here, that would hold the head and then the hands in front, and they're generally smaller than this. So all kinds of different styles of stocks to choose from, and you can pick what works best for you. So again, the stocks themselves are the ones that are loose like this, where you just have the piece, and if you had one on a stand, it would be known as a pillory. So you could have the person bent over with their head and their hands through it. This is the type that probably most of us are familiar with, that you see in movies and things like that, that sort of brings back that idea of a medieval square and people throwing the vegetables at the person locked up. So the way that these kind of work to our advantage in BDSM is that The bottom is restrained but still mobile to a certain degree. So if I lock my bottom or my submissive into this set of stocks, then they're able to still walk around, but they're significantly encumbered and they're partially restrained. So I could have them, go around perhaps with a serving tray gag as an example, and they could serve people drinks or whatever on on the serving tray gag, and they wouldn't be able to use their hands, and they would be, have a hard time of getting up and down and doing all sorts of things because of this huge, stock on their shoulders. You do have to, if you're going to do stuff like that, of course, be very mindful and careful that your bottom doesn't actually fall over or lose their balance in any way. So this is something that if you did want to have a bottom serving in such a capacity, I would suggest practicing first without, drinks or whatever on a serving tray. And just be very careful. And if you have somebody who has mobility issues or balance issues or anything like that, then obviously this is not safe play for them. I do like that they're very heavy, so that the bottom has to sort of focus on dealing with this massive heavy thing instead of being able to focus on, if I'm administering pain play, being able to process that pain, so that the normal sort of pain processing techniques, it's a lot harder to use those, so they will feel the pain that I'm administering more. And I kind of like that at times if I want them to really be feeling it and focused on their discomfort and the pain and things like that. So these are excellent if you are doing genuine punishments, but they're also quite useful for play where you do want somebody to be uncomfortable and feel the pain. There is a lot of people who like to play that way. I also like that I have the option of just closing the latch without worrying about having to put a lock in it or anything like that, because I don't always want to, have it totally locked up. I want to be able to release it quickly, but at the same time, I like the option that I could lock it if I wanted to. It's just nice to have options, obviously. Now, one of the things that we did come across, because this is not a custom-made piece that I ordered, it is just sort of a standard sizing. So if, these wrist holes are too big, or the neck hole, or if you have one that is for feet, if the ankle holes are too large, you can always use just your leather cuffs to make the wrist a bit bigger so that they can't pull it out. You could also use rope to secure the hands in place. I mean, we don't want to put rope around anybody's throat, but you could use rope to secure at least the hands. And if the neck hole is too big, then you can always put, a collar on the person, and that would take up some of the space. But generally, if you buy one that is the right general size for your bottom, then you shouldn't have too many problems. If you are using something like this that's more universal, it's at a play space, or you have multiple play partners and you can really only buy one size, then using the cuffs and collar and things like that to sort of make it a little more universal is a good idea. I'm also going to give a shout out to the company that made these. I'm not getting any reimbursement for this. I bought this long before I had a YouTube channel, so they are not paying me to do this, but this is from Badass Designs, and they're a Canadian company. I'll put their link down in the description box below, along with some other links if you want to buy a set for yourself, or at least look into pricing on these. As far as BDSM furniture goes, stocks are not terribly expensive, so they're really nice for a less expensive piece of equipment. If you find that spending a lot of money on a St. Andrew's cross or on a spanking bench or that sort of thing is just too expensive, but you'd like to have some sort of furniture to play with. The other advantage is that they have a low profile, so you could slide this under your bed and no one would be the wiser if you can't have a dedicated playroom or anything like that. So it is kind of nice that way. You can also get these guys, decorated and painted in all sorts of different colors. A lot of places will do custom orders. I kind of liked this one. It's just sort of a pinky reddish stain, which I really like. And then it's just got these for, embellishment decoration. So it is a pretty simple thing. I like the shape of it. It's a little more unusual. So that's always nice. Anyways, I'm going to put this thing down, and thank you very much for checking out this episode of Unusual BDSM Toys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will be back very shortly with another BDSM video. So thank you very much, guys. I'll see you in the next video.